All right, so today we're diving deep into something I think a lot of you are interested in.
Oh, yeah.
YouTube documentaries. The ones that go viral,
Right.
the ones that everybody's sharing and talking about.
Yeah.
So we found this really interesting YouTube tutorial
Okay.
that kind of breaks down how to make one of these.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
you ready to dive in?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so the first thing this tutorial does is
Yeah.
it lays out like a roadmap.
Okay.
And this roadmap
Yeah.
has these like key steps
Well, right.
that you've got to hit
Okay.
if you want to make one of these viral documentaries.
I'm all about actionable steps. So this sounds perfect.
Yeah, it's very much like,
Yeah.
title, thumbnail, script,
Okay.
narration, visuals. It's very straightforward.
Straightforward. But I'm sure there are some nuances
Oh, I'm sure there are.
that the tutorial dives into.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So let's unpack those.
Right.
The first thing that really jumped out at me
Yeah.
was that they suggest using ChatGPT for coming up with your title.
Interesting. Like brainstorming and refining.
Yeah. So instead of staring at a blank page, which is something I do a lot,
Oh, yeah, I get that.
I'm like, oh, what am I going to call this thing?
So ChatGPT can help you get over that hurdle.
Yeah, it's like a jumping off point.
That makes sense.
But I wonder, how do you make sure it's original?
Right. Is it taking away from your own creativity?
Exactly.
Well, that's a question I had too. And it sounds like the tutorial stresses that ChatGPT is really just a tool.
Right.
You still need your own creativity.
Okay.
And they actually give you a specific prompt to use in ChatGPT
Oh, wow.
to help you brainstorm those titles.
Okay, so it's like a brainstorming partner
Exactly.
that just spits out like tons and tons of ideas.
Right.
And then you can be like, oh, that one's good, that one's good, that one's good.
You find the gems.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the tutorial even says the more detail you give to ChatGPT in the prompt,
Oh, interesting.
the better results you're going to get.
So it's like you're giving it a map to the treasure
Yes.
instead of just saying find gold.
Exactly. You want to tell it
Eh.
the emotion you're going for,
Okay.
who you're trying to reach,
Got it.
to really help it craft that perfect title.
Okay. So it's like we're guiding the AI
Yeah.
to get what we want.
I like that.
Yeah. It's a partnership.
Okay, cool. So we've got the title figured out. What's next?
Well, next up is the thumbnail,
A thumbnail.
the visual calling card of your documentary.
Right.
It's the first thing people see, and it's got to grab them.
Oh, yeah, because they're scrolling through YouTube.
They're scrolling.
And there's like a million videos.
A million videos.
So how do you make yours stand out?
So this tutorial recommends having both visuals and text in that thumbnail
Okay.
that are eye-catching,
What do you mean by eye-catching?
like using high contrast colors,
Okay.
maybe a bold font for the text.
Yeah. And choose an image that kind of hints at your story,
Okay.
but don't give too much away.
Right. It's like a
A
little...
little movie poster.
Yeah.
To tease
So
them.
they're like, ooh, what is that?
Right? Makes them want to click.
And did they mention AI for this part too?
They did.
Yeah.
They mentioned using AI tools like Leonardo.ai
Okay.
and Flux.
Especially if you're not a graphic designer.
That's us.
Yeah, that's us. But, you always talk about how important it is for your documentaries to have a unique visual style.
Right.
It seems like these AI tools can help us achieve that.
Even though we're not like Photoshop wizards or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. But do they talk about how to use those tools?
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Yeah.
just because it can generate an image
Right.
doesn't mean it's going to be a good image.
Right. It still takes some skill.
Right.
So it sounds like they talk about how to think about composition,
Okay.
color theory, things like that.
Yeah.
But also that sometimes you got to break the rules a little bit. Oh, interesting.
To stand out.
Okay. So it's like a balance between like the rules and your own creativity.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. It's finding that sweet spot.
Okay. So we've got an awesome title. We've got this amazing thumbnail. What's next?
The script.
The foundation of your documentary.
Yeah. And they say it needs to hook the viewer from the beginning.
Absolutely. Keep them interested the whole time.
Right. But that's easier said than done.
Right.
Like, how do you even start writing a script?
Well, they recommend using, you guessed it,
Yeah, GPT.
ChatGPT.
Again.
I know.
They love ChatGPT.
They do. But it makes sense. You can give it some basic information about your topic, who you're trying to reach, the style you're going for,
Yeah?
and it can help you create a basic script outline.
Really?
Yeah. Or even draft entire scenes.
Oh, wow.
But again, it's just a tool.
Right.
You still need to shape it.
Add your own voice to it.
Exactly. Make sure it reflects you.
Okay. I'm really interested in this ChatGPT for scriptwriting thing.
Mm-hmm.
But are there any, downsides
Well,
that we should be aware of?
It sounds like you really have to be careful about editing and refining the output.
Okay.
Because you don't want to lose that human touch.
Right.
Make sure it sounds natural and conversational.
Okay.
Not like a robot wrote it.
Yeah. So it's like finding that balance again.
Yes. Always finding that balance.
Between the efficiency of the AI.
The efficiency and
your own voice.
And the human element.
Yes.
Okay. And they also talked about personal stories, right?
Yeah, they really emphasized
like, why are those so important?
Because they make your documentary more relatable.
Oh, okay.
They help people connect with you.
Right. It's like you're giving them a glimpse into your world.
Exactly.
So more human.
More human.
Okay. So, title, thumbnail, script, all checked off.
We're on a roll.
What's next on our journey to viral documentary success? Narration. The voice of your documentary.
Okay.
And you're not going to believe this, but they suggest using AI for this too.
Oh, come on.
I know, right?
Seriously. AI for narration.
I know.
Which?
AI. They recommend a platform called 11 Labs.
11 Labs?
It's supposed to be really good at creating realistic, human-sounding voices.
Wow. So it's like I have all these different narrators to choose from.
Yeah. Different voices, different accents.
Okay. But would that take away from the authenticity?
Right, because a human voice can be so expressive.
Yeah.
They do say in the tutorial that there are times when a human voice is better.
Okay, good.
Like when you're telling a really personal story.
Right, or if you want to inject your own personality.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's about choosing the right tool for the job.
Always.
Sometimes AI, sometimes human.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by this AI narration thing. I would not have thought of that.
Me neither.
Okay. So let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll dive into the visual side of things.
Sounds good.
How to make your documentary visually stunning, as well as,
Yeah.
interesting.
Compelling.
Yes. Be right back.
Okay, so visuals.
Visuals.
Yeah, this is where you can really make your documentary stand out on YouTube.
Right, because YouTube's all about the visual.
Exactly.
So what do they say about that?
Well, they really emphasize high-quality visuals, like using stock footage.
Yeah.
Or even generating your own visuals with AI.
Hold on, AI for visuals too.
I know, right?
What do they recommend?
Leonardo.ai.
Leonardo.ai.
And Flux.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Yeah, you can actually describe what you want.
No way.
And the AI will generate the image for you.
So I don't even need to know Photoshop or anything?
Not really, no.
Wow.
Yeah, and remember how you want your documentaries to have that unique style.
Right.
This is how we can do it.
Even though we're not, artists.
Exactly.
But they did say
yeah.
you still need to understand some basic visual storytelling principles.
There's like things like composition.
Okay.
And color theory.
Right.
Using light and shadow to create mood.
So it's not just about slapping any old image up there.
Yeah, you have to think about it.
You're like a director.
Yeah, you're crafting the whole experience.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because visual storytelling is just as important as the words.
Right.
It all works together.
Okay, so we've got the script, the narration, the visuals.
Yeah.
What do we do with all
It's
that?
time for editing.
Okay, what do they recommend for editing?
They actually suggested a free one called OpenShot.
OpenShot. Okay.
It's open source, but it's supposed to be really good.
So you don't need expensive software.
Nope.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can arrange your clips, add transitions, music,
So it's pretty much everything you need.
everything you need to make a professional documentary.
Cool.
It's amazing, right? You don't need a big budget anymore.
You can just do it all yourself.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool how accessible this stuff has become.
Yeah, I agree.
So you were talking about personal stories earlier.
Yeah.
I think those are so important.
We do.
Why do you think they're so important?
Because they make the information relatable.
Right.
It's like sharing a part of yourself with the audience.
And it helps them connect with you.
Exactly.
It's not just facts and figures anymore.
It's a human connection.
I was thinking about some of my favorite documentaries,
Yeah.
the ones that have really stuck with me. I think it's the personal stories that make them so powerful.
I think so too.
Remember those moments?
Absolutely.
They stay with you.
Yeah, because you feel something.
It's not just information.
Right.
So how do you bring in those personal stories? What advice did they give?
Well, they said to think about your own experiences.
Okay.
What's shaped your worldview?
Mm-hmm.
What stories do you feel compelled to share?
Okay.
Because everyone has a story.
Right. You don't have to be like a world traveler.
No, not at all.
Or some kind of expert.
Exactly.
It's just your story.
Your unique perspective.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be afraid to share your story.
Definitely not. Embrace it.
Because it might resonate with someone.
It might change someone's life.
Okay. So we're sharing our personal stories.
Yes.
But we also have to make sure the information is accurate
Oh, absolutely.
because it's a documentary.
Right. It has to be based in reality.
So do they talk about fact-checking and stuff?
Yeah, they really emphasize that.
Okay, good.
You have to do your research, make sure everything is credible.
So it's like balancing the heart and the head,
Yes,
the emotion and the facts. It has to be both.
it has to be both.
Okay. Oh, they also mentioned something about repurposing content.
Right, for TikTok.
TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah.
They said to take your long YouTube documentary and make shorter clips for TikTok.
That's smart.
Yeah, because TikTok is all about short content.
Right, so you're reaching a whole new audience.
Exactly.
So people who might not even watch documentaries.
And those short clips can be like teasers.
Oh, to get them to watch the full thing.
Exactly.
I like it.
It's a win-win.
And there was a tool they mentioned, right?
Yeah, Nexus Clip.
Nexus Clip.
It makes it super easy to make those clips.
Okay, I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So it seems like with all these tools and strategies, making a viral documentary is totally achievable.
I think so too.
But what do you think is the, secret sauce?
That's a tough one.
Like, what makes some go viral and others don't?
Well, I don't think there's any magic formula,
Okay,
but you need a good story,
definitely.
a unique perspective, high-quality visuals,
Yeah.
and a little bit of luck.
And you can't fake it.
Oh, no, people can spot a fake.
It has to be authentic.
Absolutely.
People want something real.
Real people, real stories.
So it's about being true to yourself.
Yeah, and to your audience.
Okay, I think that's a good place to leave it for now.
I agree.
We'll be back in a bit to wrap things up. Okay, so we're back.
Back for the final part of our deep dive.
And I don't know about you, but I feel like I've learned a lot.
Me too.
I'm ready to go make a documentary.
Yeah, all those tools and strategies.
It's amazing.
It's really inspiring.
But even with all that,
Yeah.
I think it still comes back to the story.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to have a good story.
And it's the foundation.
And what I really liked about this tutorial was that they emphasized that everybody has a story.
Right.
You don't have to be like a big expert or anything.
Exactly.
It's just about your perspective.
Your unique experiences.
Yeah, and they really focused on those personal stories.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think those are so important?
Because they make the information relatable.
Right. It's not just facts and figures.
No, it's about connecting with the audience on a human level.
Think about the documentaries that have really stuck with you.
The ones you still think about.
Yeah, the ones that made you feel something.
Right. There's the ones with the powerful personal stories.
I think so too.
It's about vulnerability.
Yeah, like you're letting people into your world.
Exactly.
And not just your own stories, but the stories of the people in your documentary.
Oh, definitely.
Like the people you interview.
It gives them a voice.
Yeah, and it makes the whole thing more interesting.
They're real.
Yeah, it's like a tapestry of stories.
I like that. And you don't need some crazy life story.
Right.
Sometimes the most powerful stories are the everyday moments.
Yeah, just find what's special about your own experience.
And share it.
And don't be afraid to be vulnerable.
Let people see the real you.
That's how you connect with them.
Yeah, I think so.
So we've got the stories,
Mm-hmm.
but we also got to make sure they're accurate.
We talked about that.
It's got to be factual.
It's a documentary, after all.
So how do we make sure it's both compelling and credible?
Do your research.
Yeah, fact check everything.
Find reliable sources.
So it's like finding that balance again
Always balancing.
between the heart and the head.
That's a good way to put it.
We want to move people.
Yep.
But we also want to be trustworthy.
Absolutely.
Oh, and speaking of technology,
Mm-hmm.
I am so fascinated by this AI narration thing.
It's pretty amazing, right?
It is.
How realistic those voices are.
Yeah, and it's a game changer for people who don't want to record their own voice.
Or can't afford a voice actor.
Exactly.
It's a great alternative.
But we have to remember,
Yeah.
sometimes a human voice is just better.
Right. It depends on the story you're telling.
It's about making that choice.
Choosing the right tool for the job.
And then there's the AI for visuals.
Oh, don't even get me started.
I know.
It's mind-blowing.
You can create anything
I know.
just by describing it.
It's like magic.
But you still need to understand, basic design principles.
Right. Composition and stuff.
So you're not just letting the AI do all the work.
You're still in control.
It's like a partnership.
Yeah, a collaboration.
Okay, and one last thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
They talked about repurposing your content.
Oh, yeah, for TikTok.
TikTok is huge.
It's where everyone is.
So make those shorter clips.
Get people interested.
Yeah, and then they'll come find your full documentary.
It's a great way to reach a wider audience.
Oh, right. I think we've covered it all.
I think so too.
We talked about storytelling,
Personal stories.
AI,
Hmm.
repurposing,
So if you want to make a viral documentary,
Hmm.
you can do it.
All the tools are out there.
Just find your story and tell it
Be authentic.
and have fun.
This has been great. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.